name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is not my normal video, there's unlikely to be a reading in this, although I might be tempted to pull a couple of cards later. I get home last night and I find out about hashtag witch moon hex. What the actual f***? So apparently this group of baby witches, let me just bring the facts up so I know what I'm talking about. This group of baby witches have put a hex upon the moon. My chart is ruled by the moon. Hey, is your chart ruled by the moon? Oh God. If so, ring 555, hex remove now, and for the simple price of your firstborn, we can free you of negative effects. And before that, they put a hex upon the Fae, free changeling child, for the first 666 applicants. Now, speaking from personal experience, oh no, that sounds wrong. But speaking from experience, the Fae are not people that you want to get on the bad side of. I've been lucky to be on the good side of one of them. And I know that there's a whole ecosystem out there that I have no idea about whatsoever. TikTok is a Chinese app which has been featured greatly in the news recently. This is obviously an attempt by China to drive the Western nations into a war with the Fae. And it's not, it is something I would like to explore. But anyway, I digress. So these newbie witches, baby witches, have put a hex on the moon. So, well, that's it then. I mean, thank you 2020. Are you serious? In eclipse season? On the Cancer Capricorn axis? Seriously? Haven't we got enough crap going on? So a lot of this stems from a Twitter thread from a user called Jupiter, which is at Heyadora, with lots of double letters in it, which has since had more than 34,000 retweets. So Jupiter wrote that a hex had been put on the moon by baby witches, which could be bad luck to those who rely on the moon's natural power. I have something to say about that. It's all Russian propaganda, designed to split yet another community apart. The Russians are obviously scared of our magic. Jupiter went on to say that the group of 4 newbie witches went on to hex fairies, the planet and the moon. So that's it then. Astrology's cancelled. And magic. And witchcraft. Hey ho. Jupiter said that the moon is a source of energy and fuel for spells. This hex is supposedly affecting the gods of the moon and the sun, Artemis and Apollo. So hurting the moon is like spiking your own water source. It's a silly thing to do in the world of witchcraft. Absolutely. I could not agree with that more, but for many reasons. My initial reaction was they did what? So, we've got these novitiate witches. One of them claims to be on a powerful bloodline akin to that of Rey Skywalker. So, millennials. My apologies to any millennials. But there's, so, the way I see it, they have either managed to cut themselves off from a really useful energy source, power source for their hocus pocus, and or they risk some form of retaliation. Now, do I think it's going to affect anybody else using the moon in their rituals? No. No, I don't. It is one, I think it was a Twitter user, it might have been Instagram, said that the gods are unlikely to take revenge against all of mankind for the actions of a few. Now, if you look at mythology, I would challenge that, which does not support my argument, but I would challenge that. You only have to look at the 4 races of man within Greek mythology to see that one. Or maybe, I don't know, the flood. No, 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 no. But anyway, moving on. There are many, many, many deities attached to the moon. So, a lot of witchcraft may be working with those planetary forces, those elemental natural forces, and some witchcraft works with the deities, like ritual magic, like any form of evocation where you are working with a specific entity. Now, let's just have a look at who we have. So I pulled up from Wikipedia a list of lunar goddesses and lunar gods, separate pages, of course. Now, one thing that I first noticed, I mean, obviously Artemis, Diana, Luna, or the Titan Selene, but Astarte of Babylonian myth, now, or Sumerian. But Astarte is said by the ritual magician community to, in effect of being demonized from the Catholic Church and, you know, her worship moving on, she syncretizes with or is a form of the demon Astaroth. Now tell me this, baby witches, do you really, really, really want Astaroth on your case? Never mind one of the Titans, 2 of the Olympians, Thoth, Osiris. They have lunar associations. I'm looking at this list of the ones that I know. Chang'e, Artemis, Aphrodite, Anumati, Phoebe, of course, of the Titans. The triple goddess herself, Hecate, has that huge lunar association. And looking at the gods, Khonshu, or also known as Khonshu in modern day parlance. And like I said, Thoth. In an interesting synchronicity over in the pages of the Avengers in Marvel Comics, the moon god Khonshu, patron of the Moon Knight, has taken over the world, seemingly in an attempt to save it from Mephisto. Are the baby witches working for Mephisto, pursuing the agenda of a fictional demon in a very in the mouth of madness style? Do you read Sutter Kane? After all, we already know the New York Times is working for Mephisto after its attack on astrology a couple of months ago. Didn't see the pandemic coming my backside. Now, if anyone's wanting to utilise any form of magical energy one way or another, why would you want to get on the bad side of Thoth? The term hubris comes to mind, but also the term fake news comes to mind. It's another big scandal. I mean, the bigger magazines, I was reading about this on CNN, in the Sun newspaper, on BuzzFeed, in Rolling Stone. Not the usual subject matter. I mean, we've had all sorts of people get involved in this. If I scroll down to the bottom of my notes, I've got a copy of, here it is, a tweet from Marianne Williamson, former presidential candidate. That's got to be some really drunk or stoned hashtag baby witches if they think that in the midst of a secret police invasion of Portland, the best they can do is hex the moon. I agree. And BuzzFeed said, let me check, and if you're not a witch, it's probably best to resist the temptation to mock the current happenings. No one needs that energy right now. So hence this video. Clickbait! Now, if you look at the moon in the terms of astrology, and to a large extent in the terms of Ra's the Law of One, the channeled entity Ra, the moon is a consciousness, just like the earth is a consciousness, the sun is the consciousness. Ra called them logos, which is a term that you may well be familiar with. But for baby witches, and 4, 4? What's wrong with 3 and having a stand-in just in case? I thought 3 was important. But anyway, 4 baby witches is like 4 members of your gut bacteria suddenly deciding to rebel against you. 4 of them. Not all of them. Okay, all of them can be a problem. But 4 of them. In the one little corner of your intestines going, we will not be moved. What? I mean, seriously, we even have... So, as a magician, why would you do this, and to what end? What are you trying to achieve apart from planetary destruction? As a wannabe astrologer, do you really think that your actions can affect the moon? I mean, that's like saying you're going to shatter the world in 2 by stamping your foot. You are not the Incredible Hulk. And even he'd have a job with that. As a former astronomer, I think my reaction is just, but there's someone from astrology, right? Flinders University space archaeology instructor Alice Gorman told CNET that the moon will most likely be fine. In reality, you know the moon isn't going to fall out of the sky. Tides aren't going to stop happening, she said. On the other side of that, well, 2020. It won't turn blue or green, but it does demonstrate that there are continually new ways that people find emotional connection to the moon. Yeah. I think that's a beautiful statement, actually, and I think certainly if you are watching one of my videos, you probably already have an emotional connection to the moon. I mean, the very worst that this could create is a whole number of the witch community going to magical warfare with one another. But on that level, I feel like I want to scream fake news, false flag operation, pass me my tinfoil hat. Because if you look at the astrology, and let's face it, we are going into the more difficult half of the year, astrology-wise, there are more important things for us to be concerned with. Far more important things. Even was I to wear a QAnon hat, which I don't. I really don't. But I'm sure that even the QAnon community would be, oh no, there's more important things to worry about than the 4 little baby witches, however powerful they may think they are. Is the whole thing absolutely beggars belief for me. These are consciousnesses within the body of our solar system, which is on a level that we can't hope to understand. In what's it called? Liber Chaos. The author Peter Carroll was saying that it was a good job that astrologers do not tend to agree about what's going on in the world or how it's working, which I would challenge that, because there is thematic resonance between any 2 astrologers' interpretations of the charts that they see. Even from the differences from Chinese to Vedic to tropical to sidereal, Western sidereal, whatever. There are thematic resonances. Often the differences come from the fact that the charts are being looked at from a completely different angle, with completely different standards, like a completely different axis on a graph. So I've lost my thread a bit there, but I am still so amazed about who would Seriously, try to hex the moon. False flag. That's where I was going. Yes, false flag. We are in a, according to some astrologers, according to the QAnon, according to a lot of the tinfoil hat wearers, I tend to put one on part-time every now and again, you know, just to keep my hand in. But we are in a very special time. The astrology says we're in a special time. There are more important things to focus on. This is just candy. This is just candy to keep us occupied so that we completely bypass the real struggles that are out there. That tweet from, oh, now, what are they called? I've copy and pasted this one somewhere. No, I haven't. But someone changed their name to Moonhex Witch and said that they were responsible and that they had this bloodline. Yeah, I've not copied and pasted that particular bit of information. But it's just, even if it's true, which I don't put it past being true, 2020, the efficacy of such a move is self-defeating. Launching a body against the Fae, however, is a slightly different issue that I would be more concerned with. So I suggest that we all leave some cake at the bottom of our garden. You know, just as a you know, I don't know, you know, Fae welcome here, Fae residents welcome. I mean, they don't exactly have a rainbow flag of their own, but it's just ludicrous. It is absolutely ludicrous. I wanted this video to be so much more serious. I wanted to delve into the nature of the solar logos and the lunar logos, and the moon's job is to reflect. What do these witches think they are doing? The moon's job is to reflect back at you and to give you illusions. I mean, there's other jobs it has as well, but that, you know, that's two of its roles. And Miss Rey Skywalker out there certainly seems to have some illusions. I wouldn't worry about the moon being hexed. We all have our own personal relationship with the celestial bodies. And you know very well that the moon may well care for you, but it doesn't really give a hoot what you do one way or another. And it certainly doesn't give a hoot in its relationship with you what somebody else down the road has done. If that gets noticed at all. Well, I suppose I should say to all of my watchers, blessed be. In fact, I've got to pull some cards just to see. Right, well, and they are firing everywhere. So let me bring up the other camera. Oh, there's quite a lot here, so... Well, these two were reversed, so I'll stick with that. Oh, I don't normally do with reversals, but... There doesn't seem to be a better place on offer. Doesn't seem to be a conflict on offer. I thought that was the Six of Swords for a moment. And maybe, just maybe, yeah, this is supposed to be... I'm seeing this as a potential... fake news false flag. It has to be the most bizarre false flag ever. Come on, Alex Jones, what have you got to say about this? But there's certainly that term of distraction, of wandering away from the dream with the Eight of Cups here, but there is no happiness, but there is no conflict resulting from this. There is an element of trying to balance the changes that are coming across, how this relates, I am struggling to figure out. I think it's balance for us. It's with the ship. I'm seeing the ships as being emotional information. That makes sense, and you're balancing the emotional information. So that makes more sense with my false flag idea. But also, this Eight of Cups is telling me it doesn't matter. Walk away. Nothing to see here. Because the guidance is there. You can get very easily bored with all of this, but the guidance is there if you want it. So, not quite the cards I was expecting to come out, but I'm really quite heartened by that, because it's almost like the cards have the same attitude as me, as going, well, load of nonsense. Load of nonsense. Okay, so there's a link to the Facebook page for the channel in the description down below. I tend to post far more useful videos than this. Readings, if you're a new person, come from the hashtag witchmoonhex. I tend to do readings, and on that Facebook page I also post the videos of the various astrologers on YouTube as well. So it's a good one-stop shop. Blessed be everybody. Blessed be. May the moon be with you. It's all Russian propaganda designed to split yet another community. Oh, for flippity gibbet.